This is a follow-up video, not to take very seriously as I won't go very deep in some of the concepts discussed here, and because I believe there are far better videos available on YouTube explaining the mechanics and influences of the very interesting German TV show Dark. The quote, "The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion" by Albert Einstein. It is still a sounding one in the studies of physics, and the start of a very well-written and compelling story that uses time not only as its primary narrative source, but also as a way of going deep in some dark aspects of human nature. So, why after a year I have decided to make another video about this show? Well, after a year dealing with uncertainty as a society, I believe the core idea I take from the show is still relevant. The following then are just my words and only mine. Take it as an exercise to articulate a few ideas that may start an interesting conversation. June 27, 2020 was the day we had the season finale of Dark. I must say that the gap year between seasons was not very helpful as the show takes time to develop from the moment of the mysterious disappearance of Mikkel in the woods of Winden to the events leading to the massive destruction of human civilization. Although the show starts in a slow way, having to rewatch a few episodes before starting the final season, it is refreshing in my opinion to see something as an opposite to the modern American TV premiere, with fast, exciting first episodes. Don't get me wrong, I like fast and flashy, exciting first episodes, but this is different in the positive sense. Perhaps a bit boring to some in the beginning, but developing in an entertaining way as we discover the truth behind the four families involved in the unfolding of seemingly endless catastrophic events. The story uses concepts from the Greek myth of Ariadne, the red string of fate, the Christian Bible, martyrs like Saint Christopher, patron saint of travelers, and a reference to Saint Catherine of Alexandria in one of the characters. All of this with a blend of science that includes Einstein-Rosen bridges or wormholes, the universe expansion, time loops, the Higgs boson, having the 4th of July as an important date of discovery, by the way, and even multiverses and many others. These, of course, used as a mere narrative tool and not accurate for the most part. For example, having some astrological happenings explaining strange events in the town of Winden passing as science. These inaccuracies, though, won't prevent the spectator from enjoying the show. Again, there are far better videos on this, both science and mythology used in the show. I will leave them in the description so you can check them out. One of the most interesting scientific concepts in the narrative of the show is the use of CTCs or closed time-like curves that explains the actual existence of some characters and events, making the show fun to follow. I won't say much to not spoil, but a CTC is basically a time travel equation with no apparent consequence for the current events. Okay, that is enough. Looking back to June 2020, the future didn't seem very favorable to everyone in general, as we were just starting the COVID pandemic and many of us felt with little hope as the creation of a vaccine seemed far away. For some time, pessimism was in the air, and to many, the prediction of the Netflix original on the apocalypse date seemed not very difficult to happen. One very twisted coincidence. Besides the approach the show makes on determinism, both philosophical and in physics, or in other words, that everything somehow was meant to happen no matter our actions, always having a cause and effect, it is the idea of time control. Being time itself a concept that is still a puzzle in our understanding of reality. It is precisely Einstein explaining with his theory of relativity that our natural perception of reality is limited, and just like Isaac Newton noted, what we don't know is an ocean. From this, I would like to talk about two things: attention and control. There is a very interesting interview I watched not long ago on the Jordan B. Peterson podcast with Dr. Ian McIlgrist on the very strong division of the animal brain that has to do with levels of attention, and how we perceive reality in terms of how we manipulate that reality. If we think about the starts of philosophy and science in general, we find that close attention to everyday events in nature made our perception finer, helping us to develop further and to come up with more original ideas. But again, it is mostly based on what can we perceive, having to create tools to go beyond our bodies to discover new things and understand our surroundings better. In this sense, we also have the idea of manipulating time. We have the objective control of time based on what we perceive. We check our watches or cell phones every 5 minutes, being and doing things on time, trying never to be late. It can be said that by observing the unfolding of natural events, humans have always wanted to have control of time. If we can have it, feelings of frustration and anger appear if we cannot make use of that objective measurement of time. We get easily mad when we can't control things. Is it then difficult to imagine humans understanding other humans, knowing that we cannot control them? Many of the things we cannot understand come from the same human nature we are part of. We might be the first mammal to have certainty in our destinies, coming from a very marginal origin in the animal kingdom a few thousand years ago. After all this, haven't we learned that our ability to communicate and cooperate had led us to more comfortable lives? Paradoxically, this may lead us to our destruction if we are not humble about it. Dark is not only a story about time traveling, but the human element trying to control what cannot understand. Like I said before, if we think we are here to understand and to control everything, perhaps we're not paying attention. A sudden end of the world didn't happen and may not happen. Let's pay more attention and be less in control.